Welcome to Faces of Crypto, where we interview people behind the social media accounts in cryptocurrency that you guys like to follow and you know. So today we are joined by Mark from Encrypted Apparel. So Mark, how are you doing today? Thanks for joining, and please let everybody know where they can find you right off the top.
Hey everybody, how you guys doing? My name is Mark, founder and owner of Encrypted Apparel. Instagram is Encrypted Apparel or at Encrypted Apparel. Twitter is at Encrypted Gear. Apparel was one character too long, so I was not able to have that. And then the website is whereencrypted.com, and it's where like you wear a shirt.
Not like
but yeah,
not like werewolf.
Yeah, exactly. You'd be surprised what people can spin. But yeah, it's a nice little double entendre. You read it quick, it looks like we are encrypted, which is kind of a little bit of a theme of what I'm going with my brand.
Cool, man. So first thing is, let's talk about how did you get into cryptocurrency? What was your kind of introduction to it, and go from there.
So I was baptized into crypto right after that Thanksgiving FOMO move. Everybody was talking about it Thanksgiving, Christmas time, and I got into it, put in a little bit of money, and did all the videos. How do I dollar cost average? How do I get in? Slowly. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Put in a little bit. It started going up. I was like, well, I gotta put more. So I put a little bit more, and I ended up dollar cost averaging backwards, and then saw my portfolio double in that huge alt run that we saw, and then I saw
Felt
it
like
go
a genius.
down to, I want to say negative 60% at one point. And I say it because that's, a lot of people went through that same thing just because you don't risk manage, you didn't pull profits, you didn't, do those things. But I've always been a big tech head. And once I learned how how technology worked and how everything worked out, I was hooked. I couldn't not see this in the future. So I wanted to be on the forefront of the industry as a whole, whether it's some people do the news media, some people do the brand, some people do, the project. I wanted to be affiliated with something that in 10 years from now might be, Apple in the 80s, for example. I didn't want to miss the boat.
Yeah. Well, so you bring up an interesting point. What do you think separates, because in my opinion, one of the things that's really holding crypto back right now are all the people who got in December or the very beginning of January and got super burned. So what do you think separates somebody like you from the people who just, took their losses and got out and now are afraid to get back in?
Well, I mean, again, it's some people get in because they want to make money. And that's a big reason. I read something one time that said Bitcoin's a big freedom, like that's a lot of freedom for people, but it's disguised as a get rich quick scheme, and it truly is. Some people get into it and they go, wow, I could put this in and this pumps 200, 300, 400% within a month and a half. This is amazing. But then once you start really understanding the projects, you start to kind of get attached and you start to go, wow, like I could see this being utilized on a daily basis. I can see how you start to see the flaws in the system. And I think the people that pulled out were the ones that were so fixated on making 2, 3, 4 times their money within a month and a half, and put in 10, 20,000 more than they could afford on credit cards or whatever it is, and then realized when it crashed, they had to get whatever they could. It's kind of like when a company goes out of business, they sell everything at 80, 50%. They don't care.
That's a good point. Great point.
Just to scrap up whatever they can, and then they move from there. But for me, I'm looking at it from a 5-10 year plan. These prices, they could all go to zero, or they could all become something that is implemented on a daily basis. And, it's kind of like when the internet started and you had the entire tech boom, you had the big ones that fell to the ground and the small ones that rose to the top and gave us things like Amazon, gave us things, like Google and Facebook and all these companies that we use every single day.
Yeah. And I definitely see that's where we're going. I mean, yesterday I was in Barnes & Noble. I shared this on my Instagram story, and I took a picture of the finance and business section. There were exactly two cryptocurrency books. One was a blockchain technology book, and the other one was how to manage digital assets, which I thought was pretty cool. It was there, but just thinking like, man, I'm just always reminded, you feel like you're almost in the Matrix where you're like the only person that can see where we're going, and everybody around you, you're telling them about it. You're making those comparisons like, hey, what do you think people thought about Google or Amazon? And they just don't get it. It's so crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. Change is scary. Change is scary. I come from the medical field. I'm a med school student studying to be a physician assistant, and I'm still in school, and I'm kind of building this all up because I feel like if I did wait until I was done with school, I would miss the boat, and I did not want to wait, until I was done with school in the end of 2019 to finally dip my foot in the water when, the boat's, already sailed.
Yeah.
But I look at it as kind of, when you started telling people, imagine we had dial up on the internet and people were like, well, that's it. We're capped out. That's as much progress as, for the rest of the humanity. Internet is not going to get faster than dial up, or, it's not, you're going to have to close out your landline. My parents just cut their landline because they don't use it anymore. You have telemarketers call, they just use their cell phone, and I used to download things. I probably shouldn't say this, but on LimeWire and all these, torrenting sites when I was younger, and if I got a song downloaded in 5 minutes, I was
thrilled,
blown away. I was like, oh my God, only 5 minutes? Like, that is so fast. And now it's like 3 seconds I can get the 5 megabyte song, and I use things. Or when you tell people like, hey, by the way, you're not going to have to buy music anymore because you could stream it all. When Spotify and all these, and Apple Music and Netflix and all these things, industries change, things change. And if something can become more convenient, if something can become faster, the human nature is to go towards that. Yeah. So, I look at business models like PayPal. I run my shop, I accept cryptocurrency. And so I have crypto payments, and then I have people paying with the normal credit card processing. I have people paying with PayPal. And I lose immediately 3% on those transactions as a processing fee. Yep. That's the entire business model of any payment processing platform. And then when someone pays me in crypto, let's say they bought a shirt for $30, I get $30. I'll maybe lose a couple cents on that. Sure, it could fluctuate. Sure, it could move down against me. It could also move up with me, So as the market matures, as the market caps get bigger, as you get projects that have in the trillions of market cap at some point, maybe we only have 10 or so projects at the end of this 1,400 project thing, where most of them don't really live on, but you have $15 trillion in Bitcoin or $100 trillion, or whatever the number is down the line. It's not going to fluctuate $700 in one sweep anymore. It's going to
take more to move it.
It's going to take more to move it. Just like the US dollar, the Japanese euro, the Japanese yen, the euro, all of those, they all fluctuate on a daily basis, but we don't feel it because there's so much money inside of it that you don't feel that movement. Yeah. So I could see how people and when I see PayPal and I see banks and I see all of them saying Bitcoin's a scam and crypto's a scam and all this stuff, it makes me more bullish because that tells me they're fearful. They're fearful of this new industry that eliminates their entire business model. Just like Netflix eliminated Blockbuster, just like Amazon is phasing out all the department stores because you just don't need them. You don't need the middleman businesses anymore. We live in an age where you can move from this person to this person, and that's it. There's no reason to have that middleman processing your payments or having anything to do that. So we might be crazy or we might be super smart and super early. That's realistically, but I wanted a horse in the race, and that's why I started Encrypted Apparel, because I didn't feel like there was a brand that I could wear in the bear market and not feel targeted. That was truly the inspiration of why I started.
Yeah, so that was going to be my next question was, what prompted you to decide you wanted to do this? Why did you choose apparel? And then talk just a little bit about what your brand is, what it represents, and things like that.
So my brand, for the most part, I have a huge love for modern style, minimal style. I'm a millennial. I'm only 23 years old. So for me, I like simplicity. I like things that go by unnoticed, but then when you truly take a deep look at them, you see that there's meaning to it. Mm-hmm. I love that sense of everything is packed into one logo or everything is packed into one image. Less is more. And after the crash, I still wanted to be able to start a conversation about crypto or, you know, wear something related to crypto. And when I started searching to try and find a shirt or to try and find something, all of them made it clear that it was crypto related. And it's kind of, it's not a smart business model per se when you're trying to go into a niche like crypto that is so specific and you have like diehard crypto lovers and you're making something that they have to go the extra step to explain why it's. But after the bear market, I wanted things like that where, for example, my hat is just a chain and a block.
It's a block
and
chain.
it's one of the best sellers because, you know, to you or to somebody that's in the crypto community, they understand it, they get it, they you know, especially with the name of the brand, you know, it goes with the whole crypto movement and it represents the fundamental principles of crypto. But to somebody in my class who has no idea about crypto, they just say, hey, that's a nice hat. Where'd you get that hat? Or for example, the shirt I'm wearing says blockchain associate, you know, and it might just look like a normal shirt, but I'll be walking down the street and someone will pull me aside and they go, are you in crypto? What projects? You know, it's, and I wanted those kind of conversation starters where you're able to kind of, you know, hit it in plain sight, I guess would be the best way to put my brand. And partnering up with the community. I don't think, you know, I was an athlete in high school, and if I wanted cleats or if I wanted, you know, something sports related, I would just go boom, Nike or Adidas or Puma. You know, those were the brands that I go to. I didn't feel like in crypto there was a brand that was trusted, was professional, was the brand. You know, oh, I need to grab crypto gear, I'm going to go to Encrypted. You know, I didn't feel like that spot had been filled, and I really wanted to kind of go after it and really be there for the community so that people stopped getting scammed. People stopped putting in their crypto and then never receiving a shirt or, you know, whatever it may be. I wanted them to have good service, quality gear, modern styles, minimal styles, and constantly new designs. And I partnered up with Hodl Crypto, who I think is one of the best designers in our community. And I told him, you know, hey, let's work together. I think we could really pump out some good designs. And there's some of my designs and some of his designs, and I revamped the whole site to kind of blend them together because I think both of our designs represent the movement. Whether it may be, you know, I made a shirt recently that has, you know, it says Encrypted Mining Company 2018, you know, and you look like you're just a worker or something like that, or it looks like it's just some shop, but when you're in crypto, you're like, oh, encrypted mining. Oh, I see what you did. You know, it's that, aha, that's cool. You know, those are the designs that we're kind of pumping out. And he has a lot more like thought-provoking, you know, propaganda style. And
very creative, you know? Very creative.
So both of our designs play on the same theme, same mission, same goals, but we both take it from a different approach. And I think that kind of marriage of those two styles do really well. And I see it in the sales on the site. You know, a lot of people will grab some of mine and some of his, or, you know, it's very rare that I just get, let's say, a big order and all of them are my design or all of them are his designs. It's people like to see the provocative stuff and people like to see the subtle modern stuff. And I think if I'm going to a meetup, I might grab something that's a little bit more boom out there. But if I'm going out to the groceries or going to do something, I might have something playful, kind of like, you know, the shirt that I have that just has the blockchain on it, or this hat or something like that, where it's subtle, going to the block. If I see somebody, I see somebody wonderful, but I'm not going to crypto enthusiasts and talking to them. So,
yeah. Well, cool. Okay, so let's you were talking about meetups and stuff like that, which brings up another thing I like to ask all of our guests here about, which is what role do you see the crypto community having in the advancement of crypto and also in the advancement of your own brand?
So the community, I think, is I mean, it's a grassroots movement. That's the best way to put it. You know, nothing in this world can just be put out there and become something without people actively fighting for it, whether that be as far as civil rights and women's. I mean, any social issue goes and needs to have people in the community, and any technology that wants to get integrated, you have to be the ones. I think the Litecoin community is one of the strongest communities as far as mass adoption goes. I see them on Twitter all the time. They make flyers, they go to businesses, they tell them the benefits of using Litecoin, and they really are trying to get business owners to accept crypto and to understand it. I saw something on Twitter that said, as long as it takes 10 minutes to explain to someone why they have to use crypto, it's still too early. And I think we have to work on that elevator speech to be able to tell someone in 2 minutes why you should use crypto, why it's beneficial, and how it can be used. And I think that's truly going to come with just time as people that are 14, 15, 16 years old get older, and start moving into the main workforce. And they're the ones making the decisions, and they become moving into office. They're the ones that are going to be interested in moving into that technology. You see Warren Buffett, you see Bill Gates, you see all these guys that are not for it. And
it's crazy.
It makes sense. I mean, think about it. The iPhone didn't exist 10, 11 years ago, which is unbelievable to me, because if the iPhone were to go poof tomorrow, the world would implode, or smartphones in general, so technology is one of those things where when it starts out, it's very, very difficult. But then once the ball gets rolling, you can see how powerful. I mean, you could just see when Bitcoin went on that run from 10K to 20K almost, how quick that was. I think adoption would work that same way where, you'll have this flat, slow growth as merchants like myself, people start to accept it in the community. And as that happens more and more and more, it's the power of numbers. One person tells two, and then those two people tell, and then it becomes exponential. And at one point, I think it will be, to this day, not everyone uses Apple Pay or I think it's called Droid Pay or whatever the
Samsung Pay, I think.
Samsung Pay.
I don't mess with the Android, so I don't know.
And I like to use it. I take my phone, I just go do and I throw it right on, and it's quick. I don't even need to take out my card. And that's truly what I see in the future, where I can have my wallet hooked up with whatever cryptocurrency, and then I don't even need to do a QR code. Almost, I could just boop, and it automatically gives me the best rate for whatever. I can make a setting of like what went up in price the most today. I want to sell that one or something like that. Or BitPay gives you the option where how much of it do you want converted into dollars and how much do you want to keep in Bitcoin. I mean, the technology needs to get refined. It needs to have the community kind of test trial it.
Yeah.
But as time goes on, I think there's going to come a moment where somebody, whether it be like Kanye West, how we were playing around at the idea of him saying it, or celebrity, and people start to become more and more aware, it'll spread like wildfire. I mean, look at Fortnite, for example, or any gaming or anything. The power of technology, if something is really good, will expand very fast. But when you attach a financial value to it, it becomes intimidating. And I think that's where, in school, you don't learn about crypto. Until we can integrate how crypto works and what crypto assets are and investing into econ classes and stuff like that, we're not going to have as much adoption.
Yeah,
so we can have teachers on board. Well, this is what digital assets are. And, not every asset you have to see in order to believe it and stuff like that. And as it gets better and we work on that speech, I think the adoption will start to move in. And merchants like myself are essential. I see directories popping up left and right about who accepts crypto and stuff like that. I'm working with this guy and he runs a new website called spendmyaltcoin.com, and I'm a merchant on there. And what he's doing is he's grabbing all the businesses in all these different industries to where, let's say you, BitBoy, want to go and spend your altcoins, you could go on and type in a certain currency and see who accepts that currency and then what you need and what project, and boom, you have 3 or 4 retailers, and then you can pick between those 3 retailers, as opposed to buying something and going, well, how do I spend it? I don't know where to, I don't know where to spend it.
Well, and I think you brought up a really good point. Something I really strongly believe in, which is, I don't think we're going to see necessarily like a bubble bust like we saw with the tech bubble, because I don't think crypto's a bubble, so to speak, but I do think we'll see a lot of projects consolidating. And I think that there probably will, I put the number around 20. I think somewhere between 15 to 20 is what will survive, because, does somebody really need a Litecoin and a Bitcoin? You know what I mean? To make a purchase. So I think, we'll have different cryptocurrencies in different arenas, if you will. But I'm really excited to see like when they start consolidating. Like they'll say, well, this project probably isn't going to make it on its own, so we'll add our technology to your blockchain and make it better. And I think that's something because people do just have too many choices right now, in terms, especially like cryptocurrencies, just their stores of value.
Yeah, I think I mean a lot of I kind of agree with you. You don't need a token for every single thing you do on a daily basis. I think the biggest use case that I can see, in my opinion, is something like Binance Coin. I think that's one of the best business models out of any project out there, personally, to incentivize people to buy it in order to get 50% off their trading fees, which then pumps that value up more. Which then every time someone makes a trade and you become more volume, who's getting that coin back is Binance, and then Binance go back and sell it back to the community. And then it's a very interesting way where, as of right now, let's say you hit Amazon, and Amazon, you can buy Amazon Prime and then you can buy Amazon stock separately. Why not buy Amazon stock and then get a discount on your, or Amazon token, and then that can then be used to get lower rates or free 2-day shipping or whatever it may be. But then if you don't use it, it then goes up in value if you believe in that company.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So that kind of business model, I think, is a very, very interesting business model. But I agree. I think a lot of them will have to kind of combine and have to say, all right, we're not going to live separately, and we're close enough in industries to figure it out. But I think there are probably a handful of industries that really do want to use that technology, but I don't think they need a token or a currency per se.
Yeah.
I think the technology is what's here to stay, as far as encryption based, decentralized, having that hacker proof per se system, as long as you don't have Verge, but without the currency attached to it. And I think the companies that are able to utilize that and make money off of a business model such as installation or customer service and use it from that direction, that's where I think is truly going to be the 10 years from now, with, like you said, 20 or 15 projects that are truly currencies.
Yeah, that survive.
So very interesting to see.
It will. I think the future is really, limitless for where we're going, and it's cool. It's really fun to talk about for me because I look, I'm really into sports. I mean, all my hats are sports hats. For people to watch my videos, and I don't watch a lot of ESPN anymore just because, used to it was you had to go there to get your news, and now we're getting it on Twitter, and you can watch videos all day on different topics or whatever it is. But, I used to love First Take when Skip Bayless was on there, and I would watch it every morning, and it was just fun to listen to them talk about, the future of what was going to happen for, a league and a championship or the Super Bowl or, with this player or that player, where they may go. Like, it was really fun to talk about. And the cool thing about cryptocurrency is, to me, it's like just as fun to talk about cryptocurrency and where it's going because, like I said, there's really so many different possibilities. We just don't know. But I think we're all in early enough now. The people that are still in it right now, especially those who got in during the all-time highs and are still in it, like, we see where it's going. And that's why, that's why it's so fun to talk about because, our world, I was just telling somebody today, like, it's crazy. In 15 years, there's going to be no more retail stores. Like, it's going to be nuts. Your landscape of your town is going to look completely different because, people aren't going to be able to make money. You can have very, very niche stores where people consider a part of the community, and so they go there almost for fun or for like ritualistic almost. But there's not going to be they already said chain restaurants are going out too because people are eating healthier at home. Like, the whole landscape of your town is going to look different, and cryptocurrency is going to play a big role in that. I was doing IOTA. I did a review on IOTA and think about smart cities. It's not just connecting all the devices in your home, but your cities. And, it's just so crazy to think about where we're going. The future is here, So
yeah, I think tech moves. Tech is one of those industries that moves fast. I mean, you look at just 30, 40 years ago. I mean, to think a computer took up a whole room or, like I said, 10 years ago, you didn't have the iPhone. People get so tunnel visioned in like, oh, it didn't happen in 1 year. Well, it doesn't happen in 1 year. But as time, right? Like you didn't look at the first iPhone and go, that's it, capped out. Like it's not going to improve anymore. As time goes on, things get more and more adopted, and I think that's where people are gonna go to. And I think that's why starting an apparel brand in a bear market probably isn't the best approach. But I think this is where I'm able to find people like yourself or Crypto Breakfast and people that I've met that are still here for the technology, that truly believe in it, and make friends with them and collaborate with them and do interviews like this and really be part of the community as much as I can, and build it up so that when the bulls do come back, whenever they do come back, we are already a tight knit community, and there's a brand that people can rely on. I really do believe that I could be the Nike of crypto or the Adidas of crypto, where if you need something crypto related, this is where you go, and I have plans down the line, if this does become big enough, I want to be not just an apparel brand, I want to have like a shop, and be able to sell people ledgers and sell people, mining rigs, and have an entire industry where it's a one-stop shop. You buy the gear for it. You can buy, I see so many people getting scammed on Amazon and third-party sellers, but to have a shop that you can go, like right now, if I want a ledger, I have to buy it online. I don't know. I can't go to Best Buy or something like that and find one, and so I think that need for mass adoption is going to come from having actual shops come up, and we can work on that elevator speech that way. Someone stumbles into the encrypted actual shop and they have a history of cryptocurrency on the wall or a demo of how the technology works. Just like when polarized glasses came out, you could put them on, you could look at the little, glass thing and look at polarized versus non-polarized.
That's all that's going to be in malls. Instead of like retail stores in malls, there's just going to be all the different cryptocurrencies are going to have their own store. Come on into the ZRX store,
That would be awesome. Yeah. That would be very interesting to see.
Just a bunch of people trying to shill their coins. So.
Oh, super shill. Have like a live price action like on the wall at every store. Percent, and then imagine the floors like they move as the percent, right? Like biggest gainers, like they go to the left side of the mall. And then the left, like everybody's moving and constantly.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, like right now you'd be in the mall and the up escalator would be broken. You could just go down. Oh, exactly. Market's having a bad day if you guys don't know. So.
Yeah.
Well, Mark, thanks so much for joining us today. We really appreciate your insight and what you're doing with your brand, and always like it when, I meet people who are not just here because they made a quick buck or want to make a quick buck, but because they believe in. It's so cliche to say I'm here for the technology, but you believe in the movement. I think it's bigger than just the technology. So one more time, tell everybody where they can find you at.
Awesome. So again, thank you for having me first and foremost. So anybody on Instagram is at Encrypted Apparel. Anybody on Twitter is at Encrypted Gear. And then the website is whereencrypted.com. And I've actually set up a discount code. So if you type out BitBoy at checkout, you'll get 10% off, and then that helps support both me and BitBoy. And we'll get him some cool gear on the show soon, and you'll be able to see it live action. And yeah, we'll just keep growing. And I really do think Encrypted will be the standard for the community. I think that's the whole goal, is cleanest brand on the blockchain.
Love it, man. All right, man. Well, thanks for joining us. We'll see you later.